These girls really beat up their friend for clout. Like, dragged her, jumped her, filmed it, and posted it online like it was another challenge. Olivia Brown and Haley Disler, both 18, are now at the center of a firestorm after videos surfaced showing them brutally attacking their former friend, Eevee Barren. And this wasn't some petty fight. Eevee was thrown into the pavement, punched repeatedly, and left looking bloodied and dazed. And get this, they called themselves the Evil Twins on social media. Like it was a whole brand. These two had already been putting out concerning content, fighting, drinking, acting wild, but this was calculated. Now the internet is in full outrage mode. Eevee's family is speaking out and prosecutors are being pushed to make an example. Because let's be real, if this gets ignored, it sends a loud message that you can ambush someone for TikTok fame and walk away free. Let's get into it. This harrowing incident happened on a Friday evening in April 2025. 18-year-old Eevee Barren was just trying to enjoy her night. She was hanging out with some of her friends near Chain of Rocks Road, just outside Granite City, Illinois. Nothing unusual, but that calm didn't last long. Eevee spotted something that immediately set off alarm bells. According to her, she saw a group of boys wearing ski masks approaching her car, and among them, she recognized two familiar faces. Olivia Brown and Haley Disler. Now, here is where things start to get unsettling. Eevee and those two girls, they used to be friends, but somewhere along the way that friendship ended. We don't know exactly why, they haven't spoken publicly about the fallout, but when Eevee saw them that night, her instincts kicked in. She did not stick around to find out what was going to happen.
And I saw a bunch of boys with ski masks on. I saw Olivia and Haley, and I just drove away.
But things didn't end there. The next day, Eevee got a text from Olivia and Haley. They said they wanted to talk, to apologize. They invited her to a house in Caseyville. Eevee, maybe still holding on to hope that things could be patched up, decided to go. But when she got there, she quickly realized it was a setup.
They both just started beating me.
And this wasn't a spontaneous attack. According to Eevee's mom, Lara McCord, the girls had allegedly lured her there on purpose, even going so far as to set up a camera to film the whole thing.
And they lured her there and had a camera set up so that they could videotape them both being her.
Haley covered my mouth like this from behind me and was telling me that if I screamed, she would end my life right there.
It's not clear how long the entire ordeal lasted, but in one of the videos that later surfaced on Snapchat, you can see what looks like Olivia placing a phone on the ground, angling it toward a basketball court. It's dark, but the outline of someone dragging another person comes into view. A voice cries out, and it's Eevee. What follows is disturbing. You can hear her pleading as blows rain down. She calls them by name. Eevee knows exactly who is hurting her. Despite the intensity of the situation, she doesn't fight back. At one point, the girl believed to be Olivia picks the phone back up, still recording, and for a second, it seems like the attack might be over. But then the other attacker, referred to in the footage as Haley, keeps going. She continues yelling at Eevee, and more hits can be heard landing. Eevee's voice gets louder, her cries more panicked, and you can sense Olivia beginning to panic, worried someone might intervene.
No, Haley, we got it. We got it.
Shut the f up. Which one? I can't. I can't. Come on, find me.
No, we did it.
You guys dropped me. You fight one of us one-on-one. Or it's not done. Oh. You fight one of us one-on-one. I'll let you get your shoe on because I'm not bad ass.
Charlie's good. Hey, we got it. No,
one-on-one.
now go. Go. I'm telling her to go.
I can't see me. I can't. Olivia, me. You can see me though. You can see me.
Olivia, stop. No, you stop.
Eventually, Olivia can be heard trying to de-escalate, saying, "We made her scream, it's over." But as they finally walk away, both girls issue a final threat, warning Eevee never to disrespect them again. After the brutal beating, Eevee Barren shared a raw, emotional video from inside her car. She was still reeling, physically and emotionally. Her mascara streaked from tears, a cut visible on her knee. You could still hear the panic lingering in her voice as she tried to process what had just happened.
Bro, I don't know what to do, bro.
Crazy, bro. My whole head is like pounding.
She later described the extent of her injuries in an interview. Injuries that paint a clearer picture of just how vicious this attack was.
My whole head has bumps everywhere. My leg was scraped up, and my lip was like just a little bit busted, and I do have a bruise under my eye, and this eye was bloodshot red.
But as horrifying as that incident was, it wasn't an isolated one.
Disturbing story out of the Metro East. 2 teenage girls are now charged in connection with multiple violent assaults in Madison County.
On April 23rd, both Eevee Barren and Haley Ditzer were arrested after yet another teenage girl came forward. She hasn't been publicly identified, but her account bears disturbing similarities to Eevee's. According to court records, the second attack happened just 5 days earlier on April 18th. The teens allegedly showed up at this girl's house, tricked her into coming outside, and then dragged her to a wooded area. Once there, they reportedly beat her, punching and kicking her across her face, stomach, arms, and legs. Just like Eevee, this second victim didn't fight back. She was too terrified.
I know if I wouldn't have screamed or fought back, I know they would have killed me.
And honestly, she might not be wrong. On this channel, we've covered a lot of stories where bullying goes too far, but rarely does it escalate like this outside of school and with this level of coordination. So here's the thing. Olivia and Haley weren't just 2 girls who just snapped one day. According to what I found on their social media, they have a whole vibe, and not in a good way. These 2 didn't just act wild in private, they documented it. They would post videos of themselves drinking, smoking, laughing about fights like it was just another TikTok trend. They even called themselves evil twins, and honestly, that's not even the most unsettling part. Olivia once posted, "The devil couldn't reach me, so he made me an overthinker who self-sabotages everything good that comes into my life." Now that sounds deep until you realize she was literally out here self-sabotaging through felony assaults. One commenter even tried to snap her out of it, writing, "Think about your actions before you do them. Self-sabotage isn't cute." And they were so right. Because let's be real, Olivia and Haley weren't just doing this out of anger, they were doing it for attention, for clout. That's why they recorded the attack on Eevee and posted it on Snapchat. Like it was content for the feed instead of literal evidence of a crime. But what they didn't expect? Eevee flipping the script. She posted the video on her own Facebook page and it went viral. People were outraged, and rightfully so. The internet demanded justice. Eevee's mother, Lara, didn't stay silent either. She launched a change.org petition, which quickly racked up over 7,000 signatures. In it, she wrote, "We, the undersigned, demand that in the St. Clair County State's Attorney's Office, led by James Gormick, pursue the full extent of justice for the brutal, premeditated assault committed by Haley Ditzer and Eevee Barren against Eevee Barren on April 21st, 2025. Eevee Barren, an 18-year-old young woman, was lured under false pretenses, ambushed, and violently assaulted by Haley Ditzer and Eevee Barren. The assault was planned, premeditated, and carried out with malicious intent. During the attack, Eevee was punched, pulled by the hair, repeatedly struck, and forcibly dragged across concrete by her hair, causing road rash injuries. Her head was slammed into the concrete, inflicting serious physical harm, including a documented concussion. Beyond the devastating physical injuries, Eevee now suffers severe emotional trauma, nightmares, anxiety, and a persistent fear for her safety. She also made it very clear what justice should look like. Full prosecution, a public trial, sentencing that reflects the brutality. No plea deals, no probation. Because let's be real, if these girls walk away with a slap on the wrist, what does that say? That you can plan an ambush, record the whole thing, post it online for views, and still skip away without consequences? That is not justice. That's a message, and it's the wrong one. Now, let's get into the actual charges, because this is where people are side-eyeing the system real hard.
Just this afternoon, those felony mob action charges were filed against Haley Ditzler and Eevee Barren after they allegedly attacked multiple women across Madison and St. Clair County.
So right now, both Olivia and Haley have been charged with 1 count of mob action. But here's the kicker. That is only for the second victim. There are no official charges yet for what they allegedly did to Eevee. So what even is mob action? In Illinois, it means 2 or more people using violence together, knowingly or recklessly, in a way that disturbs the public peace. It's been on the books since the 90s, not new, but it does come with some legal wiggle room. Here's where things could get tricky. The law says that they have to act in concert, meaning that they were on the same page, had a shared plan. So let's say that the defense argues that Haley and Olivia had separate beefs and acted impulsively, didn't really coordinate. Boom, no mob action charge, and it starts looking shaky. And yes, it is a technicality, but courts have tossed out cases on stuff like this before. Now, if they are convicted, sentencing could go a few ways. They're both 18, and if this is their first offense, some folks might expect counseling, probation, maybe community service. But if their courtroom energy matches their mugshots, you know, that smug, we don't care look, a judge might not be so forgiving. A lack of remorse could push that sentence way up. Judges do notice attitude. And what about that video of Eevee's assault? Can it be used in court for the new charges? There's this rule, Rule 404B, if you want to get legal, that straight up blocks prosecutors from dragging in someone's past behavior just to make them look guilty. Like, oh look, they've done shady stuff before, so they probably did this too. That won't fly. But, and this is a big but, there is a loophole.
There are permitted uses when you can bring in that evidence, and one of those permitted uses is for MO, or modus operandi, when there is kind of a signature of the way that they do things. And that could fit the bill here, and that would be pretty devastating on the case with Miss Ditzler and Miss Brown if that were allowed to come into evidence.
Basically, if Olivia and Haley pulled the exact same trick on Eevee as they allegedly did on this other girl, lured her out, ambushed her, filmed it, and posted it online, that could be enough to convince a judge that this isn't just coincidence, it is a signature move. And guess what? They don't even need to press charges in Eevee's case for her to take the stand. That Snapchat video, it could absolutely become part of the evidence, but it's not automatic. This would go through a pre-trial hearing where a judge decides if it's really relevant or if prosecutors are just trying to paint the girls as violent for vibes. If the court thinks the similarities are strong enough, it could get in. But make no mistake, it is gonna be a legal fight. And then there's Eevee's testimony, which might not land the way that you think. One defense attorney already pointed out that the fact that she filmed herself right after the beating could hurt her credibility. To some people, it gives clout chase energy.
She goes on television, or she's in her car, and why are you just got beat up? Why are you doing that? It's a weird, there's kind of a weird sickness going on with the youth.
But here's the twist. Once that video of Eevee getting jumped went viral, the internet did what it always does. Dug up the past. People started calling Eevee out, saying she used to be right there with Olivia and Haley doing the exact same thing when they were all friends. And to her credit, Eevee didn't deny it. She owned up to her past and admitted that there are fight videos of her out there, and yes, she used to run with that same crew, but she drew a hard line. She says she's not like them and that she never took it that far.
Everyone I have fought in my life I've made up with and are my friends now. For people to blame me for this is so hurtful. I've got with wrong crowds before and been in bad situations. Everyone makes mistakes. I would never hurt someone how these girls hurt me. I would never wish this on anyone. My fight videos are going to come out, of course. I've never hurt someone as bad as these girls hurt people. Again, I am friends with the girls I fought. People are going to come at me and make up false things. I really hate it. I am not the same as Haley and Olivia. I've had a fight phase, but I've never been sick like them. I would never hurt someone like them. This hurts my mental health and I cannot take it.
But here's the catch. This might not work in her favor. A defense attorney weighed in and basically said that honesty, that could backfire, because if Eevee takes the stand and those old videos surface, now we're in messy territory. That opens the door for the defense to flip the script. Suddenly, it's not just about what Olivia and Haley allegedly did to her, it's, well, look, she's done it before. And legally, that changes everything. Now, it's not just Rule 404 4B being used against the girls, it might be used against Eevee. If there's footage of her being the aggressor in past fights, the defense could argue that she's not some innocent bystander caught off guard. They could say that she has a history of violence too. That could undercut her credibility and even shift the narrative towards self-defense or mutual combat.
Now you're talking about an entirely different ballgame as a defense lawyer. You don't fear the video as much because there's other video that they have to fear. And then that becomes a tool for plea negotiations.
After the attack, Eevee did get a restraining order against her former friends. But according to her mom, she's still scared for her life.
She's very concerned that even with the order of protection, they will try to hunt her down and do worse to her.
And clearly, prosecutors aren't taking any chances either. In a motion filed with the court, they asked for special bail conditions to make sure that the girls don't contact their second victim. According to the motion,
the defendant has previously threatened or perpetrated physical abuse toward the victim in this matter. On information and belief, the defendant presents a continued threat to the victim, and the defendant may harm, harass, or interfere with the personal liberty of the victim during the pendency of this action.
Now, the court records indicate that the judge signed off on a standard and additional pretrial release rule. But Eevee said that she doesn't think it'll be enough to stop them. And honestly, she's not wrong to worry. A defense attorney even said it straight up. Sometimes a restraining order is just that, a piece of paper. If someone really wants to ignore it, they will. Yes, it's meant to act as a barrier, a warning, but it's not a physical wall.
The protective order, some people say it's only as good as as a piece of paper. You can walk right through that protective order if you really want to. I think most of the time it does its job. The purpose of it, of course, is to prevent Ditzler and Brown from going after the victim again, the alleged victim again. And because if they do, they face new consequences.
So the law can respond if they violate it, but does it actually stop someone who's not thinking straight? That's the real question. Now, switching gears, because as you already know, once something like this hits the internet, things tend to get out of hand. And it's not just in views or reposts. People start taking matters into their own hands, sending threats and hate messages, and it didn't stop with Olivia and Haley. Their families started getting harassed too, like death threats. That's when Eevee's mom, Lara, had to step in and basically beg the public to chill. Hello, everyone. I'm Eevee Barren's mom. I'm asking everyone to please stop threatening Haley Ditzler and Olivia Brown's families. They are getting death threats. Please just let the justice system handle this. Thank you, everyone. And she is absolutely right. The last thing anybody needs is more violence or revenge spirals. People get real bold online, talking big behind a screen, but that energy doesn't always stay virtual. And we have seen how that can get left real quick. People think posting threats online is harmless because it's just Twitter or just a DM, but prosecutors watch that. Screenshots exist, and the last thing you want is to end up in court because you couldn't log off. Meanwhile, the legal wheels are still turning. Olivia and Haley's preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 16th, and that's when we'll see what evidence sticks, what arguments they try to spin, and whether this turns into a trial or a plea deal. So stay locked in, because this next hearing, it could be a game changer. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Do you think Olivia and Haley are actually going to see a jail cell for this, or is this about to be another case of pretty privilege and no accountability? Let me know in the comments, because this case has everyone talking. And hey, if you're into this kind of breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap that bell so you don't miss what's coming next.